My name is Barry Crampton. This is Grosvenor Garage. We're in Preston, in Wantleydale, Preston. We've been here for 17 years. Originally it was a fuel station selling 5 cars outside. Malcolm, who had the place originally, dispensed with the fuel, and 3 of us started selling cars from the pitch. John and myself are here now, and we've been here for 17 years.
And straight away you've launched into telling us this really significant piece of news, which is that because of the way things are changing, you can contemplate and in fact actually move to being an online business.
Yeah. The reason is that there's very few people, even though we've got lots of previous customers, even they usually contact us by phone to tell us what they want, or they look online. We get very, very little passing traffic. Even though we're on the main road, there's hardly any people stop. Most of the business is done. First contact is online, normally live chat, telephone. The deal's virtually done before they get in the car to come here. We have the car ready just to drive away in.
So when that happens, and presumably you've got a plan for that to happen in due course, you're still going to have to prep vehicles, you're still going to have somewhere for them to collect them from. How will all of that happen? Will you still use this site?
No. We'll be working from home. The plan is to have 20 or 30 cars presented really, really well around the back, but working from home. And the advantage is, if you sell good cars, it's not a problem working from home. Anybody can knock on your door, everybody knows where you live, it's not a problem. So that's the way we work. As far as contact these days, the presentation is video. We were the first to do videos. The customer will see a car the best it's ever going to look. So that's the first impression. You don't really have to keep everything clean on the forecourt like you used to, but obviously make sure it's presentable when the customer comes. We've got instant part exchange valuations these days from Autotrader. The deal's virtually done. The customer can do a deal themselves. We had one last Saturday. The chap he'd gone online, he'd seen the video, we do a video test drive. He wanted finance, he wanted a part exchange. He got the part exchange off our website, which is done via Autotrader, and he got a finance quote and an online proposal from Motonova. So he'd basically done the deal himself. Our job is to make sure the cars are presented well, videoed well, and the job's easy when you do that.
So from your point of view there, it's around sourcing stock. Obviously you've then got to prep and present the car,
yeah,
and market it, and quite a lot of the grunt work of the deal is you're not having to do yourself.
No, actually the worst part of it, the customers do themselves these days. We spend a lot of time prepping the car. We've got probably one, if not the best valeter in Preston. He prepares them to a standard that's almost new. I then take videos, I spend time doing the videos, do them as best as I can in the time I've got. We do a video test drive in that particular car, a description online as good as we can possibly do. And then that takes away a lot of the time that we used to spend for the customer coming, taking him around the car, taking him out for a drive. Very few people even go for a test drive these days, and that used to be one of the most time-consuming pains there was in the motor trade. But now, video has taken all that away.
Why you would still naively, I would kind of think, wouldn't a customer want to know what the feel of the drive was like?
I suppose pretty much all cars these days drive great. Doesn't matter what they are, they're all designed by a computer, they're all do around about the same miles per gallon. It's mostly styling, I think, that people go for these days. It's what they like the look of. Driving really, here anyway, it doesn't really come into it. But I think we probably are one of the only ones, and we're the first one to do a video test drive online. The first time I did it was with a Renault Megane Scenic, and we get our website stats instantly, so I can watch what's happening on our website. And I noticed at the night somebody had been on the site and had watched the video 17 times. When I got to work the next morning, bearing in mind this is probably, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago. When I got to work the next morning, there was a guy waiting outside, and he'd got the money for the car. His wife had seen this on the internet the night before. She'd watched the test drive. She was quite happy. She didn't want to drive it. We had another customer come from the Isle of Lewis. He got a plane to Glasgow, a hire car from Glasgow Airport, drove down here with his friend, bought a Ford Focus that we'd got, which there must have been hundreds between here and the Isle of Lewis, went back up to Glasgow in the car. He never drove it, he just paid for it and took it, which is when I thought this video test drive's a pretty good idea.
What put the idea in your head of doing a video test drive in the first place? Because that was prior to you realising what a hit it was going to be.
What put it in my head was, I hate taking people for a test drive. Everybody thinks they're the best driver in the world, but they've been driving a car for 5, 6 years. They jump in a car and they can't drive it properly, and it's because they're used to it, or they think the brakes feel funny. And it's very difficult for people to accept that they're not driving it properly, but they're just not used to it. And it's even worse when there's somebody you don't know sat next to them, like me, because we have to go with them on our insurance. And it makes people nervous. So they already talk themselves out of the car for no fault of the cars. And really speaking, a test drive should be a close, but in a lot of cases, it's not. And it's flipping dangerous. If I was to tell you how many close calls I've had in the motor trade with other people driving cars, so that's what it put it in my mind.
And it's not like you're a driving instructor with dual controls.
No, especially with these stupid handbrakes now, the electronic handbrakes that you can't pull on if you need to.
So you just had, I suppose, what, like a moment of inspiration or a brainwave?
Yeah,
or
just
let's try this.
Yeah, anything basically to cut down the process of selling cars. When you're a one-man band and you've got 2 customers, of course, and you can't deal with everybody, so it's managing it, making appointments, making sure people, arrive on time and you've got time for them. But the internet is, for the motor trade, it's unbelievable. The way it's come on, the amount of time it's saved, the way you can advertise, full pictures and HD videos. In the old days, you used to get Lancs Evening Post and adverts about so big, all abbreviations, because you couldn't fit anything on. No pictures, and these days, everything. It's very, very good these days.
But you come across, as we go round and we meet different dealers of different, mindsets or different points of view, you sometimes meet guys of what they will think of as the golden age, who kind of operate more by their instincts and are very mistrustful, and they will say that technology is, stripped margin out of the business and put all the power with the customer. So you hear a different perspective about technology. You must hear these things as well.
Well, as far as power with the customer, I think that's a good thing. The one thing that the motor trade has been lacking for years, and I've been in it I started cleaning cars when I was 12, and I've been in the motor trade ever since. And the one thing that's always been missing is transparency. Nobody trusts car dealers. You know, old days glasses guide under the desk, and now you can get a price online. We've got this Autotrader instant part exchange valuation system. It's brilliant. The customer already knows. They're already aware of how much the car's worth, and sometimes we can improve on the price and sometimes we can't, but mostly it's pretty accurate, and it's a godsend. It's, again, nobody wants to phone you these days, nobody wants to call. They want to know beforehand that they can afford it, that they like the car, that they're going to get a fair price for the part exchange and not get ripped off, and the dealer reviews. They know they can trust you. We sell cars all over the UK, and they know they can trust you before they set off.
So it sounds like there was once upon a time where customers were nervous of car dealers and felt, I'm going to get ripped off, I'm going to, you know, they're going to have the edge over me, and might be so much in their shell that they wouldn't end up doing the deal with you anyway.
Absolutely. We a few months ago we got a part exchange inquiry when they first came online, and John and myself were sat here having lunch, and there was a Saab convertible parked on the road, and sure enough there's a thing on the computer, part exchange inquiry, Saab convertible, and the lady was sat on the road outside making sure that, you know, she'd gone on Autotrader, found out how much a car was, she'd seen a car, and she came in and bought the car straight away. Now we didn't do anything, but I'm pretty sure that she wouldn't have just walked into the fork, and especially with two guys sat here having the lunch, it was probably intimidating, and we did a deal within a few minutes. She was happy and we were.
So as things stand now, you've still got your site here. In fact, you've got an interesting overhead picture of it. But you'll be able to just kind of get rid of this site, will you, and lose the business rates associated with it and the overhead associated.
Yeah, that's a killer. It really is, because it is just a storage facility. We don't need people to drive past and see the vehicle, because it just doesn't happen. And the other thing is that on the forecourt the car's clean, and a day later it's dirty. So, as I say, we present them online. They're the best they're ever going to be online, and it's a great first impression.
So you've got both the two of you have got. Will you be kind of like still working together, but you'll have your own homes, and you'll juggle between you a bit, will you?
We're busier at night than we are during the day.
Right.
All we do really during the day is man the place and get the cars cleaned, run various errands. The work starts when I get home at night. Again, live chats, and live chat's fantastic. As I say, people don't want to ring you. They want to be able to end the conversation when they want to, not have somebody pestering the life out of them. So if they contact us on live chat, they're interested. You answer the questions, and normally it results in a deal.
And how do you manage to? So it's really impressive what you've done with your site, and in fact, I'm going to. I need to have a good look at it to see what you're up to. Maybe we can even capture it towards the end. But how do you drive traffic to your site? I mean, how do you actually market the awareness of your own site?
Right. We used to be on all the different websites, all the different car websites, and to be honest, in my opinion, they're all a waste of time except for Autotrader. And I know you guys are from Autotrader. It's a lot of money, but these days it used to be a lot more. In real terms, it was a lot more. Now they've got live chat, they've got managed live chat, and they've got part exchange. They're doing deals for us when we're asleep. If we can't take a live chat at night, it's manned. Somebody else takes it and they capture the customer's information. we come in the next day and follow them up. I mean, even at night, I like to take them myself, the calls myself, but they've got the instant part exchange valuation as well. The other night, I think it was between 10 and 11 o'clock, and we got 2 inquiries, both part exchange inquiries. They both got an instant price. The price stops them going to other places like We Buy Any Car or all the other car buying websites anyway, and it keeps it in-house. It stops them going from your website. We do a trailer video, which basically pumps as much information into a customer in 1.5 minutes, which is about the span, their interest span. So that pumps everything in and shows them all the accessories and so on. Now, if they're still interested, there's a link where they can go, and then there's a longer video, and you can actually follow them and see the travel through the website. So once they've gone on to the longer video, you know that they have got an interest in it, and then they take the time. But people dismiss things they're not interested in very, very quickly these days. You've got probably 10 seconds, I would imagine, before somebody clicks onto another car. So that's it. We want to keep them on our site and stop them going away.
And the video is the thing that is the content vehicle for doing that, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's my video is to try and get across as many of the good points of the car and keep the customer's interest. That's it. Which you can't normally. Again, going back to the old days, and it is the old days, we used to have a thing called a 7-step walk round. Now that's great. You lead the customer around the car and they end up in the driver's seat. But that was fantastic until I went to BMW, and you got people like, I don't know, barristers and so on, and they just went where they want. You know, you can't control them. However, with the video, you give the customer the presentation that you want to do, as you want to do it, and show them everything, and it's fantastic.
Yeah. So on the one hand, so what you're describing there is something that's operating, if I can summarise what I think I've heard, happening in a couple of different ways. There's partly them having more control because they're getting control over the deal brokering aspect of it, and they're also able to only come to you at the point where they feel like they've managed all of the information. So they've got some control, but actually over the sales part of it, there's you kind of managing the presentation of the car, you've got some control over that. So what you've described is a process where both parties have got the control that they want.
Yeah, absolutely. If I'd have had this system 40 odd years ago, I'd have sold a heck of a lot more cars. We're just at a point now where it's absolutely ideal. Nobody wastes any time really. The customers you get, I think the figures are, they used to visit 7 forecourts, now it's down to 2. So each person you speak to, you've got a 50% chance of dealing them. Now if your car is proper, and we only sell proper cars, then you stack the odds in your favour. That's what we're trying to do, stack the odds in our favour. We're not trying to rip anybody off. Everybody knows we want to sell the cars. The customer, by the time they come to us, they've got all the information they could possibly need. They don't need to ask us anything. They already know. Everything's on the website.
So you're not having the kind of the no pun intended, the tyre kickers that you would have had once upon a time, just wasting your time.
No, it's all purely business.
So we can hear noise going on out in your workshop behind us. What's is that just prepping that's going on out there?
That's Lance Valeter. He's not a valeter, he's a detailer.
Okay.
He goes right through all the cars. Even cars that are only a couple of years old, they do get very, very tiny scratches through washing and so on. Lance buffs them, polishes them, cleans the inside, and he really does makes them like new.
So where's that going to happen from in the future then?
We'll have an office at home, and we'll have a prep bay at home.
Oh, you'll even do all of that at home as well.
But as I say, I get really excited with this. I went to Lake Garda a few months ago. I sold a car while I was sat in a bar in Lake Garda through live chat. I mean, you've got FaceTime. You can get an online quote. You don't have to sit behind a desk all day. You can do it from anywhere in the world. I sell more cars from the bar at Forum on my day off than I do when I'm here, and at night.
So it's this idea that you're no longer fixed and dependent on a physical location.
I sold a car to a guy in New Zealand while I was on a train to Manchester.
Yeah.
I've got all the information on my phone that I need to answer his questions if he has any. I mean, I even had a copy of the logbook and the MOT, which he needed for an import license. So it was all done while I was on the train to Manchester.
How, with the part exchange, the Autotrader part exchange thing that you've mentioned, is part of the benefit to the customer there, forgive my ignorance here, is it because they're acting as a sort of honest broker? So because Autotrader is like a marketplace, they can trust that if Autotrader give them a price, it's bound to be a fair price.
Absolutely.
And so Autotrader's reputation is supporting your sale. Is that where the ratio is working there?
That's exactly right. Again, with the dealer reviews and Autotrader being very trustworthy, certainly in the customer's eyes, it's Autotrader give them an idea, and it's there or thereabouts with We Buy Any Car. I'd like to think that we deal with people better than We Buy Any Car, the way we do it. It captures the customer's information, the telephone number and their email address, which again, that's a godsend. We have a look at each deal as they come in. If it's a certain type of car that we know we do well with, we've certainly got an excuse to get back to the customer and say we can actually improve on that. In giving the customer good news, it's a plus.
Helps to close the sale.
Absolutely, yeah.
Does anybody ever come to you now, a customer, blind in terms of asking you questions that we all used to have to ask in the old days, which is, what would you give me for this? Do you ever get that?
You do. You still get you're the first place I've been to, but it's very seldom true.
Right.
It's as soon as you come up with the price, you go, how much or whatever. It's some people still try and play a game, but mostly customers are educated. Everybody knows these days, and as I say, it's great. Why pretend? Why go back to the old days or even try? You have a margin. You know what you need. Fair price and a fair price. Everybody knows what cars are going for. They do still tend to look for the highest priced example of their part exchange and the lowest priced example of the one you're selling, and expect that to be the deal, which isn't the case always.
Yeah.
But 90% we're good.
Okay, so we're in a world now where you can assume they've informed themselves. They can assume that you've assumed that they've done that as well. So we're all kind of operating in a much more open territory, and the negotiating space between you is a bit smaller. And
well, we value cars in front of the customer. I always turn the computer in so they can see it. We don't have anything to hide. It is easier.
I mean, you've talked brilliantly about the way in which technology is transforming your business, actually even transforming your lifestyle within your business as well, which takes it to a different dimension. But is there anything that's harder about the business now?
The only thing that's harder about the business now is that cars you can't repair them as such. You have to replace items. That's a difficult thing. They're getting so complicated that there's very few people can actually repair or know what's wrong with them the first time. The only thing that's getting harder are the laws, the consumer laws, and you get so many tries and the customer's entitled to the money back. Unfortunately, cars go wrong. It's not our fault. We can't make them better than the manufacturers, and it's a ridiculous rule. We're very, very fair with people, but even we can't make cars better than the manufacturers, especially when they're 3 years old, 5 years old, 10 years old. You know, the laws need to be a little bit fairer to car dealers as well.
And are you saying that in relation to, so if somebody's buying a used car off you, you sell it in good condition, but you're giving what, some sort of warranty nevertheless?
Absolutely. We try and give a 6 months AA warranty, certainly if possible.
Yeah.
So yeah, and we prepare them. We go through them. We try and make sure there's no faults whatsoever. But honestly, on all models of cars, there's inherent faults these days.
So some cars will come back to you within the warranty period, and the point you're making is whatever part has gone wrong actually just needs replacing.
Yeah.
And it's more expensive than just being able to repair it.
Well, probably going slightly off the subject here now, but cars are supposed to be recyclable. 90% and governments are working. What they should be doing is making them repairable. For instance, there's a few things like a Renault door handle. A 2p clip goes on it. It's £100. You can't get the 2p clip. A BMW sunroof, £1,000 for a cassette, and it's a piece of plastic that's probably 10-15p to make, and you have to get a whole £1,000 cassette, drop the headline in, take it all out, a day's work. Stupid. Absolutely stupid. But you know, we can't make them better than the manufacturers.
So that's just a way in which the industry's just not as good as it was,
No.
and not actually living up to its own rhetoric about recyclability and so on.
It's ridiculous, in my opinion.
So when a car does come back and needs some work doing on it, and it's under warranty, you're also taking quite a hit, presumably.
Oh yeah.
Right.
It's again, we spoke before about margins being squeezed. They are squeezed, and in some cases you need one thing to go wrong, and you've lost all your margin completely. Cars with ECUs that you know, I think of a Ford Focus a few years ago had 53 ECUs on them, and it's the longer you're in the motor trade, the more you see the same thing happening over and over again, and you start to get wary of certain cars because you know that's going to happen. It's difficult to know what to buy. Let's put it that way. That's harder than it used to be.
Difficult to know what stock to buy.
Yeah.
Well, so how does that work then? So how do you? I mean, what's a typical stock holding for you to have at any one time here?
We probably have 30 to 35 cars and vans at any one time. We're actually low down at the moment because we've had a good few weeks coming up to Christmas. We're always busy. And we'll wait until after Christmas because there's probably 2 weeks when everybody's going to be off. So we'll be waiting until after Christmas to restock. But John and myself have been in the motor trade a long time. We've got a lot of contacts, and at the moment we're in a position where we don't need to go out and buy stuff. People bring it to us.
So when you're sourcing, I mean, what 30 to 35 means, I mean, my how that feels to me, tell me if I might be wrong or not, is that there isn't much kind of a huge room for error. You need those purchases you make to work.
Yeah.
So I guess the art of sourcing is a key skill for you.
It's difficult to do it properly. There's a lot of rubbish out there. If you not bothered what you buy and you just shine them up and sell them, then it's no problem. If you're looking for proper cars with proper service history, original paintwork, nice inside, that you know 90% of the time you don't get any problems with, and the customer can come. As I say, we sell cars all over the UK, and the last thing we want is somebody coming up here and saying that's not as described. So again, we do the video in 4K, which 4 times HD quality. So we only buy good stuff. We just don't want people coming up and being disappointed, or going home showing the neighbours and the neighbours saying, oh, that wing's been painted. Anything like that, we just don't want that. And to be fair, we don't get it.
Okay. So so you've got the experience to know how to source, and then obviously managing stock turn and cash flow. I mean, they must be crucial for the health of a business like this.
Yes, you would think so. John and myself are pretty much dinosaurs in the motor trade, and we still work off.
Hardly.
Well, the technology side I really like. When it comes to cars, we buy stuff that we like, and these days that's not the way to do it.
Having just described how innovative you were, you then startled me by describing yourself as a dinosaur. So you're going to have to substantiate that.
That's the last piece of the jigsaw, hopefully. And this year we are, from January, we're going to work religiously off the stats that Autotrader give us. And at this point, I must say that I've been around from the days when Autotrader used to send Dave out with a Polaroid to take a photo of our cars. I've had all sorts of reps, some good, some bad. We've now got the best rep I've ever had. Young lady by the name of Linda Cooper. She is on our case all the time. She's got us doing the reviews, which I've noticed customers, I can see that they read the reviews, and basically when they go online and they look at the car and then they start going to reviews, you know they're pretty much ready for buying. So she's got us doing that. She's been on at us to look at the stock which is selling in our area. We on our dealer portal, it shows you whether a car's desirable, stock day or stock turn days. And to be fair, we've largely ignored it, but it does work. We see it working by accident. Something will come in part exchange and it'll fly out, and lo and behold it's green and low stock turn day. So she's been on at us for a good while to do that. She's very persistent, and we will be doing it. Right. So hopefully again that will see an increase in business as well.
So the part of the just so I've got the part of the business that you've been slower to be to using technology in is that sourcing, or is that pricing, or
no pricing?
You use the stats for
religiously, and we check our prices daily against our competitors and on dealer portal as well. Of course, you get notifications when there's something wrong with your stock. So, but we tend to be proactive in that. But the actual sourcing side of it, we need to put more work into that.
And if somebody is bringing something in for part exchange, and they've got a price on it, and you want to do the deal, but you don't want the car, does that tend to go to auction? Is that how that tends to work?
Very, very rarely. We sell everything.
Right.
The one thing that is consistent, if you're stuck with a car and you reduce it, it finds a level where all of a sudden you have no enquiries whatsoever, but you hit a sweet spot on the pricing, and it sells, and we know that to happen. So we know whatever comes in part. So long as it's fit for sale, the only things we sell we trade is stuff that we wouldn't put our name behind. We wouldn't sell to anybody because, you know, we just wouldn't do it.
So as long as something's fit for sale, even if it needs a bit of prepping to make it ready for sale, eventually it'll find its price.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's the part of it that's that's still, you know, tricky. And by the way, is it literally just the two of you that work here? So you haven't got concerned about staff and all of that. So it's just you've only got your two mouths to feed in that respect.
Two, and Lance, our valeter, is self-employed. He came 15 years ago to clean a car for me, and he's been here every day virtually since for 15 years. But to be fair, he's that good.
And is it your sense that the industry? It's interesting that what you're doing. So you're independent, and there's just a couple of you. I mean, if you were to crystal ball gaze, do you think it's likely that the industry will become more fractured in this way, with leaner, technologically led one-man bands, and then ever bigger, you know, franchise network dealerships? Is it going to head in those two totally different directions?
I would imagine the franchise dealers, sooner or later, all the franchises will be in charge of them, and they'll just have big demonstrating places and perhaps outlets to deliver them to. And as far as we go, I was sales manager at the Mercedes-Benz garage with 6 salesmen under me, and the way technology is, and this is just since 1999, the way technology has come along now, basically the salesmen are kind of used by remote control to meet and greet customers and take them for test drives, but collect all the information for the salesman to value the car. Nowadays, you probably only need half as many salesmen as you used to, because again with technology, they can get valuations online, and it's just not needed. It's just if you could cut the space and the displays out, then the Autotrader would be a lot healthier.
So looking into the future then, you're going to have a situation relatively soon where you've got 2 sales outlets, I suppose. You'll have your own site, and you'll have your presence on Autotrader, and this will disappear. I mean, I'm guessing that it's always beneficial for you someone to find you on your own site rather than through Autotrader. Is that right? Or
it's cheaper.
Yeah. But they give you the volume, presumably.
Well, again, many years ago, when the internet first came out, I realised it was going to be a godsend for car dealers, for display and presentation. Then the penny dropped that when YouTube came out, you could drive people to your website. YouTube now is the second largest or second most used search engine, apart from Google. So the idea was to get a presence on Google by doing videos, so that videos pop up on searches before text. So I started doing videos and then putting a link to the website in it. And then YouTube came along now, and they're the second highest. So we've basically now got out there about 1,000, 1,100 videos, all with our website address in, and we get a lot of traffic from that. A lot more than Autotrader. However, the ones we get from Autotrader are actually interested in cars, you know, specifically. So you're more likely to deal from that. So you've got a concentrated line of customers from Autotrader, and then you've got lots and lots of people who are slightly interested from YouTube and Google. And occasionally you deal with them, but those are the people, in hindsight, those are kind of the biggest waste of time. And now we've got the instant part exchange values. What you don't want is people ringing up for a valuation and they're not interested in buying the car, because that's the bit that used to take the time. Now 100 people can go on the website and ask for a valuation, and it's all done. It doesn't take any of my time whatsoever. So now we're just at a stage where everything's paying off.
So for you, the clue that someone's really interested is when they've bothered to get the part exchange price.
Well,
that's the flag that says they're a real customer.
Yeah. The other day, when I was saying about the people come and look on the site, lots come from YouTube, and it tells you where they're from, gives you an IP address, and it tells you where they're from and what they're using. There's a chap from Kazakhstan, which, you know, I didn't expect to deal in. Now, a couple of days later, Kazakhstan, same IP address came back, and then the next day it came back again, and that's the thing. If they're just looking, it's once every so often, but it's the same pattern over and over again. They look, then they look again, and then the next time they look, it's a shorter time frame. And then I could see what he was looking at, and then he came to contact, our contact page, and then the phone rang. So, and he dealt. He'd seen the car on Autotrader. He's in Kazakhstan. He's working in Kazakhstan. Just what he wanted. He watched our videos. He watched our video test drive. Rang up and he's left a deposit.
So you must have loads of videos up there on YouTube, linked to your website, that are for cars that have sold ages ago.
Yeah.
But they're still part of your.
They're still working.
They're still part of your video inventory. Because it shows your style of filmmaking and what you're like to deal with.
Which has got better.
So, okay. So I suppose you could take videos off if you so chose, couldn't you?
I could do, but
it does a job
they're worth
for
the
you.
weight in gold.
Right, okay.
Listen, that Jag engine. The right car, the right music, on a nice day, even a bad day, makes you forget your trouble.
So it's no problem for you to have videos there to cars that are no longer for sale. And do you not get customers saying, "Oh, I saw that video and write in," and you go, "Oh, we no longer got that stock"? Do you not get that frustration coming through?
No, nothing like that. But we also do a couple of other things as well as the video test drives. I do a video of the accessories on the car, how to pay your phone to the Bluetooth system, or how certain accessory works, like self-parking. And one of my videos, how to pay your phone to a Ford 6000 system, it's had so many hits, and I get so many emails thanking me for helping them, and that keeps on going. You know, and even how to put a key in a Renault Megane key card.
I think I may even have used that, because I've got a Renault.
Yeah.
And the first time you ever have to change the battery, you just think, there is no way into this.
Absolutely. So that's I think that was the highest viewed video last month. How to replace a battery in a key.
Yeah.
But they've all got our website on, and they've all got a link to the website and a link to all the other cars. So they're doing the job.
Is there anything that we could?
I'm basically, when we've kind of talked, I'd love you to show me one of your video test drives.
Yeah.
On the computer, and also how you work with live chat as well.
Yeah.
That would be really, really handy.
They're a little bit boring unless you're interested in the car, but they just, you know, they do a job.
Yeah, but that's the thing for you. It's just you're actually making these videos. So and it's an essential piece of marketing. And you've no need to sell me the importance of video. You know?
Well, I think one of my customers a couple of weeks ago said it. They're not riveting, but they're handy. So there you go. That'll do. That's a win.
So when people are looking at the video, when you say that there may be less committed buyers, is it What is? Do you actually know what's motivated them to look at one of your video test drives in the first place? If they're not that interested.
If they're not, first of all, on my stats, what I like to see is referrer Autotrader, because then I know they've gone on there and they're looking for a car. That's the first thing. The rest of them may be looking for a car. I mean, I've even had somebody ring up from one of my cars that I'd previously videoed and say, I want a car exactly like that, get me it. And so it does work. And actually I've sold many cars for other people via my videos. I've sold the same car twice, an MG, and the MG story, I used to have I put a webcam up outside, a pan tilt zoom one, and this was probably about 10 years ago. A customer could go on my website, take control of the camera, and zoom around the forecourt to see if there was anything on the forecourt. Somebody from America was looking at had found my camera, and he'd been looking all around, and there was a forum about geeks and gadgets. He was talking to somebody else, told them about it. They lived in Wigan, went on the site, zoomed in, and I had an MG. And it was just what he'd been looking for. He'd been looking for one for ages, so he came down and bought it. But I'd already videoed that car. Anyway, when he sold it 2 years later to another garage, the person who was looking at that was trying to find a video, saw a video of that particular car, that particular test drive, and went and bought it off another dealer. So I'm, services to the motor trader.
You need a cut.
Well, exactly. I mean, that's again with the same webcam. Somebody from India bought a car for the daughter who was at Preston University, and then watched on my webcam the daughter come to pick it up, and they had a conversation and waved on the webcam, and I indirectly I bought my last house. A chap from Dubai, working in Dubai, went on the webcam. He lives in Wantleydale. Went on the webcam, saw a car, bought it for his wife, all done over the internet phone, and I then delivered it. When I delivered it, it was to a place where I'd always wanted to live, and I was telling the lady about it, and a couple of days later she rang me up and said a house has come up for sale in the close. So it's a small world. Dubai to Wantleydale, and then the next minute I was buying a house, and those people I've probably sold them 3 or 4 cars since.
I love the idea of you being able to do a kind of a self-guided tour of your forecourt, but with an early example of you being innovative around use of video and the internet.
That was a long time ago, and it was fantastic. It really was.
But in a sense, what you're doing now has superseded that, because you can take people on a more controlled tour anyway, more on your own terms in a funny sort of way. Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
If you suddenly see a spike of kind of light hits from Brighton, that'll be me on the site videoing your videos or capturing your videos to include potentially in the film down the line. So that will be, if you're get somebody excited about selling a car, somebody in Brighton, because that will be
the thing is, Car Gurus, they use my videos or our website to demonstrate to their new employees. Autotrader, they're always on it. In fact, I was talking to Guy Dunn the other day on live chat, because I saw them on here. And Motor Novo, they have one of their reps showing his customers about the videos and about our website. But our website, I knocked photos in the head a few months ago. So we now have.
Can you tilt that just a tiny bit down towards me?
Right.
Lovely, thanks, that's great. Did you build the site yourself?
Azizi Media do it for us. Now that's just the stock page, so that's kind of the landing page.
Yeah.
But then I'll just
there is a bit of music when the things come on, so I'll just turn that down. But that's what comes up when it starts. So we've got rid of the photos, and we now have a 4K video. And this is I use a drone as well.
Of course you do.
So
Why wouldn't you?
yeah, well, yeah. So again, the purpose of it is a photo is 2D, nothing moves, nothing happens. It's just, I mean, that's a video of the car standing still and basically nothing happens. So I tried to get as much motion as possible, and show what works.
Do you want to come and work for me?
Well,
I mean, well, I'm sure we're working for you, one of the two. These are great.
I'm just, well, last night I was up till about 2 o'clock doing Final Cut Pro. There's so much to learn on that. So you've got the video there in the top right hand corner. So whereas you could only have photos before, and now with Autotrader have gone onto videos as well, you can get all that information across, and that's our dealer reviews. I update them as they come in and update the film.
And interesting to see where you've animated those reviews just to make it more visually interesting.
Yeah. It's people tend not to reach for the stop button when there's something moving in the video.
And over here you've got click for part exchange.
Click for part exchange, yeah.
Tell us about that. Well, I mean, the whole thing is, presumably the idea is you're integrating it, you're kind of making it as easy as possible for
Absolutely,
the
yeah. As easy as possible. The other thing, they've not actually done it yet, but we're going to have live chat up there as well. The rest of the stuff is self-explanatory, but the get valuation, basically, you click on there, that's the car that they're interested in, they click on there, and then there, enter your reg, enter your mileage, that's the Autotrader widget, and they get a part exchange instantly. Not when the salesman gets round to it, when he's finished his coffee, when he wakes up in the morning. We dealt a guy on a Jag a few weeks ago, and his inquiry came in at 20 to 4 in the morning, part exchange inquiry, and been looking at customers want to do a deal when they want to do it, not when you're awake. So that's it's honestly it's fantastic. It really is. And you can be sat at home, you get a live chat, I get a notification on my watch if I'm out, and I can pick it up on my phone, I pick it up on the computer at home. That's and I can actually, if I see, the latest thing is, when I get my stats or I'm watching our website, and I can see people on the site, and if they've been a few times and the visits are getting shorter between each visit, I know they're interested, and I can actually send them a message onto their screen through the live chat. Do you want to know anything else? Is there anything else I can help you with? It's honestly, it's so good these days. When we get the inquiry through from Autotrader, it has the telephone number and their email address. So I then enter that into forgotten the name of the app now, but I enter it into an app on my phone. So the next time I contact them, or they contact me, the name comes up, so I know who I'm talking to, what they're interested in. Once they've sent the contact details through, I text them a link to the page, which then gives them the video and all the details. So they know, because again, in the old days, people used to inquire on a few cars. Refresh my memory, what car have you got? Well, you send them the page, and they've got everything there and then, so they know.
Brilliant.
That preemptive live chat I'm just intrigued. What kind of reactions does that get? Do people kind of get a bit skittish and kind of?
Yeah, sometimes, but you know, if you're going to try and sell them something straight away and hit them with that, I mean, we do get people from all over the world, so.
For them, it's the natural way, isn't it?
That's it.
And I suppose what happens is, in the same way that you have been an early adopter of technology, there must be some degree in which you're filtering the customers that are happy to adopt technology themselves.
Yeah.
So you're actually in the happy position of reaching out to an audience of people that are a bit like you and are not nervous of technology. So you very cleverly dealing with like-minded customers in the same way.
Well, yes, but the thing is, going back to the pitch here, that we've been here for years and paid so many £1,000 rates. I sold a car to a chap 4 doors down, and he was the landlord of the pub in Bamber Bridge there. He goes every morning to get his paper from that paper shop, and he goes every night, so he passes 4 times a day. The car was on the front row. He must have passed it, I don't know, 60 times. He saw it on Autotrader. He'd walked past it 60 times. He saw it on Autotrader and come and bought it. Now, this happened years ago, and then we realised that, you know, the pictures were kind of dead and buried for our particular business anyway. We had an old lady a few weeks ago, and I think she was 78, and John asked her if she'd seen the car going past. No, I saw it on Autotrader. So, you know, everybody's adopting the internet now. It's so easy. You've got the app, you open up, you search. None of trawling through the magazine like we all used to have to. You go straight to the car.
Tell me about your just partly because you know I'm interested. Tell me about your videoing process. You mentioned you had you've got an Icon.
Yeah, a couple of Nikons.
GoPro, and you've got a drone.
Two GoPros, a Viopov. I've got a Lumix 4K camera. I've got a 3DR solo drone, which is remote controlled, and the GoPro goes on it. It's autonomous, it'll follow you, you can program it to fly a course, which doesn't always go as planned, but it just adds a different perspective to the cars. I want our videos to be like something off Top Gear, you know, a proper presentation. People, unfortunately, the only place we can film is on a car park around here. I'd love to be able to do it in a better place, where people would imagine themselves driving the car. And again, that's all presentation. It's the first impression. You don't want to see or imagine yourself in a car on a dirty old forecourt.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is really interesting, because please don't take this offended, but I would never associate that video with kind of this building.
No, I know.
Like, it immediately kind of puts you in the kind of, like, it feels very professional, it feels very streamlined, it feels, you know, very expensive.
Well, the internet is levels the playing field for everybody. Nobody knows what the place is like, really. Again, we had this several years ago. Somebody stopped here asking for this garage with a very, very grand name, and it turned out to be a terrace house up New Old Lane, but with a very good website. And again, that's it. The only time people come here really is to pick the cars up. The deal's done.
Brilliant. Barry, I think we've had your time, so thank you. That's been an absolutely spellbinding hour.
You honestly.
Really there's so much more. There is so much more. The sad thing is that I'm sure Autotrader want to move the goalposts.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of dealers dragging their feet
the forums, kicking up a fuss on the forums. We don't want this, we don't want that. And it's got to such a stage where I've actually made a bit of a study of it. I think it's called the change curve. And the people want to adopt new ideas. They'd rather drag their feet and scream about it. And nothing changes until they actually make their mind up to try and make it work. Now, all those people have been... I started videos 14, 15 years ago on the old dial-up. I had to learn how to make my own website because nobody else could do it for me. They wanted £100,000 to make a website. So I taught myself to do websites and the coding, you know, to be able to put videos on. And then, of course, YouTube, you just embed the video. So that was a great answer. But other people, they're just starting to do it now. Now, if we'd have all done it 15 years ago, that would have been boxed off and we'd have had the instant part exchange sorted out, the live chat. We need video live chat so people can see who they're dealing with. There's just so much that needs doing, but it just seems like everybody's dragging their feet. Nobody wants to do it.
It's great for you because you are happy to do it and you get an advantage.
It is great for me. However, the amount of time it takes to learn these things, when somebody else isn't doing it for you, first of all, you take your eye off the ball with the job, selling cars, which is what I'm predominantly here for. Then it makes it easier for other people to copy, and they copy very fast. They don't want to do it themselves, but they want to copy. So you're kind of dragging everybody along with you and giving them a free ride, which goes against the grain.
What else could, very last question, what else, with that in mind, what else could Autotrader be doing to help you?
What else could they be doing? To be fair, Autotrader, now, I can't really complain. Everybody complains about the bill, but you can't really complain about it. If you use the features, they pay their own bill. The live chat girls, they're very, very good. They probably sell 1 or 2 cars for you a month, really, when you're not at work. Would you pay a salesman that money? I don't know, however much it costs you for Autotrader, 20 or 30 grand. It's well worth at least another member of staff. And it pays dividends. I would like it to be cheaper. I really would, but I can't complain now. It's just and the videos. It's at a place now. I've been asking them to do videos for years. We're there. That's what happens. We have this little thing built into the website, and so those are people that come on.
No, so you can see where
so you can see what they do.
Yeah, so that's your analytics, isn't it? Really?
You see there, We Buy Cars, they've been on the We Buy Cars page, and what they've looked at. Somebody there looking at the used Porsche Boxster, the Discovery. So you kind of know when the phone goes who it is and what they're going to be looking at. So, and then if we just go over here to visitors, we even get people, there you go, look, you see the links from Autotrader, these others are from the videos. But if you look there, and the actions, 8 actions, that usually says they are interested. And when you go into the particular viewer, and then you see that they've looked at the testimonials, the reviews and so on, and you get an idea of whether they're interested or seriously interested. And then of course we get quite a lot of competitors looking as well, where there's 20 or 30 actions looking at all the different pages. But also we do a lot in Ireland, so all videos.